welcome to Answering the Call with Dedication and Service, a special program interviewing members of our Medicine Hat Fire Service. I'm Brian Webster, Deputy Fire Chief of Support Services. With me today is Lance Purcell, Deputy Chief of Operations. Lance has been with Medicine Hat Fire Service about 2.5 years now. Prior to that, he was a Deputy Fire Chief and Fire Chief at CFB Suffield, and prior to that, he served in the Canadian military for 20 years. Today we're going to be talking about the fire service as a paramilitary organization and structures of the fire service. Lance, it's great to have you on the program.
Thanks, Brian.
So why did you want to become a firefighter, Lance?
Well, as you read, my history is I started with the military. I was in the Army, and as a secondary duty, I became a volunteer firefighter. And like many volunteer firefighters, I looked for a job in the fire service as a full-time firefighter. So that's how I became, I came into the fire service, but I really wanted to help people and give back to the communities.
So when you were in the military, you had the chance to, you started out as a combat diver or infantry?
Yeah, I was a field engineer combat diver, so I've had dive experience too, and that came along with the, into the fire service.
And you remustered into the firefighter trade?
Correct, yeah, I did. I did a few years with the Army, and then I remustered, and I spent about 16 years with the fire trade in the military.
Good. So we were talking about military. The fire service has been described as a paramilitary organization. What does this really mean?
Well, the fire service is set up, the organization is set up quite like the military. Military has platoons, we have platoons. And it's worked on span of control, so you have a hierarchy of command and control. And so we have a fire chief, we have deputy fire chiefs that work all the way down to platoon chiefs and captains, and then down to the members of the platoon. Similarly, the military does that same breakdown. So, and it's a very dictatorial on the fire ground. It is dictatorial, similar to the military.
So with the fire service and with military, traditions are very important. So why are traditions important?
Well, you know, that gives the identity to the fire service. And, you know, there are a number of traditions that are with the military, or sorry, with the fire service, that are right across the board. Dalmatians were part of the fire service. We don't typically have Dalmatians. Some stations still do. In Medicine Hat, we've just brought back something that was a tradition for us in our new fire station in Station 2, and that would be the poles, the brass poles. They were taken out for a little while. Some of our traditions have had to change due to advancements in safety, but for the most part, we've kept these traditions.
So red fire trucks. We've seen lime green fire trucks and red fire trucks, and I see that we're coming back to the red.
Yeah, again, that was a safety thing that was brought out a while back. People thought, or there was studies put out that their yellow or that kind of greenish yellow truck was more visible. And so the fire service, for the most part, a lot of them have gone back to red. But then again, there's all kinds of colors of fire trucks out there across the country and across North America.
Another one is, I see your jacket is a double-breasted jacket. Is there significance to that?
Yeah, that has been part of the service for a long, long time. If we have an honor guard, and that again is another tradition, and that's very important to us. And they have the double-breasted jackets, and we actually are moving to the hat that we're going to be having with our honor guard will be a traditional hat that our fire service used to have.
Good. So we were talking about uniforms a little bit. So the fire service wears a number of different uniforms. You're in a number one's or dress uniform. What's the difference between the uniforms?
Okay, and it actually happens that the two of us are in different uniforms, and it really wasn't for this show. You're in our station dress, which is something our firefighters use all in their working on a day-to-day basis. It still shows our uniformity. It shows our military, our paramilitary organizations. But we do wear the dress that I have on, the number ones, and that's for ceremonial or for respect. And I'm actually going to a memorial shortly after this for the people lost in the line of work.
All right. So one of the things we see as well is on Fridays they'll wear red T-shirts. I have one today, but I don't think you can see it. So.
Yeah. So one of the big traditions that have come out in the last while for Medicine Hat, and it's moving along, is wearing the red T-shirt in support of our military. And you've probably seen the red and the yellow ribbons, and that red T-shirt does have that yellow ribbon. And we're proud of our military, and we support them.
Good. So moving on, we'll talk some about the organizational structure of the department. Has the fire department always been structured in the way that it is right now?
Well, fire prevention's become a big proponent now of the department. It wasn't. Originally, fire departments were for suppression. We would go to an emergency. We spend a lot of time now preventing fires rather than fighting fires. And so our structure right now is we have a suppression branch, which is our largest branch, and that's where we get to see our fire trucks. You know, we have a number of fire trucks. We have an administration branch, which handles all of that. We have a branch of fire prevention and investigation, and they look after trying to prevent fires, but also investigating the fires after they have occurred. The final part of our unit is training, and that's become a huge portion of our organization. Training is we have to train like we fight, and so we need to get our people trained to a level where they're safe and they keep our residents safe.
So you mentioned suppression. So suppression is of course, the largest branch we have within the department. What can you tell me about the suppression? There's platoons and...
Yeah, so when I talked about the organization, our platoons are typically, each platoon is 18 people. And so with those 18 people, we have it broken down to 3 captains, a lieutenant, and a platoon chief. So it really works on the span of control. We have a platoon chief that runs the platoon. We have 3 captains that run each of the stations or the halls, or the firehouses, as some would call them, and the firefighters themselves, which is 4 to 6 in each of the stations, depending on the day.
So is there a specific, what's the reason for the specific number of firefighters per platoon?
Oh, a number of things. We operate on a span of control. The best and efficient way to work is a span of control of 3 to 5, maximum of 7. So that's one of the things we do. But we also have to ensure that we cover our most the call that we go to the most, and that is residential fires. And residential fires, for us, we've staffed to 14. So we have 14 on our staff, and we need the 18 to ensure that there's leave, training, and everything that are covered to make sure we keep that 14.
And the 14 people that are on the staff, they have, when we have a structure fire, they have specific tasks, and of course there's a standard that we try to achieve why there's 14 people.
Yeah, there is. There's an NFPA standard that we run by, and NFPA is the National Fire Prevention Association, and we've adopted their standards, and that is response time, and that's one of the reasons why we're moving our stations, to ensure that we have response time for all of our residents. But we also need the 14 to ensure the safety of our firefighters and the safety of the people that they're responding to.
Okay. So what services are provided by the fire service? You talked about the branches within the department, but so what services?
Well, again, we have, I'll start with suppression. It's our biggest. So we have suppression. They're the ones that show up on your house, at your house when you have a problem. We also have specialty teams within the suppression branch, which are aquatics, which is a proponent that we use quite often, or more often than we would like to. We have a tech rescue team, which handles confined space entry, high angle rescue, and rescue off of the bridges and so forth. And we also have hazmat. and hazmat was a specialty team, but we've now moved into having every member of our department trained to the hazmat tech level. We have fire prevention, which is, again, I'll say, they go out and they do inspections and ensure that people are complying to the fire codes, but they also do fire investigations, so rooting out causes of fires. So again, we can move that into our prevention process. And training. Training is a huge proponent, and I've talked about that.
So the prevention side, or the prevention branch, should also do some public education as well.
They do, and again, that's part of our prevention, but they definitely do the public education. We've just embarked on a really interesting program to help with our seniors in senior complexes and that, but also with the preschool, because we often targeted the schools, and we kind of missed out on the preschoolers. So, and it's always good because those kids would take that home to their parents.
That's good. So there's different types of apparatus that we have within the department as well, correct?
There is. We have actually quite a vast number of, or array. We have a crash rescue truck that's out at the airport. We have rescue pumpers, which are the ones that will show up at your car accidents or at your house fires. We have aerial ladders that will show up to rescue people off decks and give us aerial streams for fighting fires. But we also have tech rescue unit. We have a hazmat and command unit, and boats that help us on the rivers and the lakes themselves.
So you mentioned training, about how important training is. Of course, we have to train till we can't get it wrong. What features or what pieces of equipment do we have in the training branch that help our guys out?
Well, yeah, we were lucky with this last station being built. We have a training tower now, which is absolutely incredible. It's a 3-story, and it allows us to rappel. It allows us to do just about every function of training we have, other than live burning fires. We have a confined space entry mock-up for our tech rescue team, but it's also used by all of our members. So we are able to develop training in-house, which is huge for recertification, but also for day-to-day training.
Good. So what are some of the important partnerships that we have in the fire service?
Well, we have some great partnerships here, definitely with AHS. We are moving forward with some new innovations with them. Another great partnership is with the Medicinet Police. We've done a number of fundraisers with them, and also just on a day-to-day basis working with them. But we also, with the community and the big industries like CF, Methanex, CanCarb, and a number of other ones that we've done, we work hand in hand with them and built partnerships with them.
Good. We also would have partnerships with the base and Cypress County.
Absolutely, yeah, we do. We have partnerships with Cypress County and CFB Suffield, which are huge for ensuring that we can provide services to the area that we cover.
And of course, we have kind of an affiliation there because we both worked at CFB Suffield Fire Department.
This is true. This is true. We both did work out at Suffield.
So this building we're in right now is old fire station number 2. Why was this? So in the research you've done, why was this area selected for the fire station?
Okay, yeah. Actually, it's kind of funny. When Fire Station 2 the original Fire Station 2 was built, all the land behind the station was field, and the guys often talked about watching the gophers out there, and that was in the 70s, and so it was built out in the area because Fire Station 1 that was built on Maple Street couldn't cover this area and the response time. So they built it here because they felt that the city was going to move out there. And that's how we built fire stations in the past. So since this station built, the city expanded past. And so it actually expanded all the way to the coulee in Ross Glen. And so now the expansion's actually happening in the southeast.
Good. So we're looking in the future. So we talk about expansion how Medicine Hat has expanded, but looking to the future, what are some of the upcoming changes that the citizens of Medicine Hat can expect?
Well, we're really excited. We just opened up Station 2, the new Station 2, and closed down this one. That Station 2 was relocated, so we didn't have to build a fourth station, and now it's up on Old Trans-Canada Way, or Trans-Canada Way. And so that provides us the ability to get into the southeast where the city's expanding. But we're also looking at a movement over to the north of the river. We've never had a station over north of the river, and that's coming up very soon. We are going to close down Maple Street, the old number 1, and move a small station over on the other side of the river.
All right. So let's see. What have you enjoyed most about being with Medicine Hat?
I think the camaraderie. The department is a really sound department. It's been here for over 100 years. And, you know, we have the book on that. We commemorated that not that long ago. It is a sound department. It's got some great people that work with it, and it's got great partnerships within the city. And so it is a really interesting place to work, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Good. So do you have any final thoughts for us?
No, not at all. I just have to say we're very excited about where we're going with the department, and I think the future looks bright. We are adding a new truck to our, removing our 27-year-old ladder truck, and we should be having a new truck by the end of this year. So we're pretty excited about that.
I think there's more than one truck coming, correct?
There is. There's a couple pumpers with it, but this one's the new one, and it's kind of the new fandangled one, I guess we could say. But we do have a couple replacements of trucks that we've had before, the rescue engines, and so we do have a couple of those coming too.
Good. Well, thank you, Lance, for taking time out of your schedule to be on the program and to share your thoughts with us.
Not a problem. Thank you.
To find out more about the history of the Medicine Hat Fire Service, check out our history book entitled Answering the Call with Dedication and Service, the First 100 Years of Medicine Hat Fire Service, available for viewing at the Public Library and the Esplanade Archives. If you have any questions about fire safety, please call 403-529-8282, which is our business number, or you can go online to the city's website. Under the Government tab, you'll select a department and you'll find Fire Services. There's a wealth of information there. I hope you've enjoyed the program, and thank you for watching.